Hey guys, I'm back at the workshop for part 2 of the Milwaukee battery revival process. So from the last videos, this was a 6 amp hour Milwaukee battery pack that pretty much was not responsive. So you pressed the button, no red lights came on, and the battery would not charge. So it was pretty much a dead battery. Also, some of these cells were reading a little bit low. So what I did, as you could see in my previous video, is I grabbed my charger, my 18650 battery charger, jumped it as so, and then I charged all 3 banks of batteries. So I gave back 4.2 volts into all the cells, and still nothing. Still, I was pressing it and still nothing. So then after taking the battery and putting it onto the charger a few times, it activated. And now it works. So this dead battery has been revived. So actual good success from part 1 video. It's definitely worked. But even after charging the battery, I was pressing this and I wasn't getting any lights. So I kept pressing the button and I put it on the charger, off the charger, on the charger, put it onto a tool as well. And then magically, it just revived somehow, magically. But I'm pretty sure it was because the battery management system, this protection board here, was probably detecting some sort of a fault. But after charging these 3 banks to the correct voltage, it's revived the battery. Now, moving on to the second battery in last week's battery revival process, this 5 amp hour, which is this case here. This one here was dead, right? So I press the button now, and there's one light flashing. What actually happened with this battery pack is it had a little bit of corrosion on this terminal. So probably some water got there, and it actually killed one of these battery cells. And these are the cells that are in the Milwaukee battery pack. Some nice Samsung 18650s. Interesting, it says not for e-cigs or vape. So I diagnosed these batteries to be faulty because they're actually completely at 0 volts. What I did after, because I was interested, I actually chucked it on my charger, onto this one here, the ISDT, and I managed to put in about 3000 milliamps into this battery. It did get a little bit hot, but you know, at least it took some power. But I'm still going to discard that battery, maybe do some further testing on it. So back to the 5 amp hour pack. What I did is I went into my stash of, spare batteries, like this one here that I found in a vacuum cleaner. It's got some really high quality cells. It's made by Miele, this one, so the batteries are going to be very good. So I pull batteries out, from devices like that and build my own battery packs or whatever. So I took 2 batteries and I put it into this unit. So now I'm going to spot weld the 2 new cells in place. And if I set up the camera here quickly, like this, so at the moment, you can see when I press it, it's flashing. But if I actually connect the terminals with my hand, if they're touching correctly, sorry, it's a bit hard, still nothing. Oh, still nothing. Let's try now. So I'll just quickly hold that and I'll put it onto the charger. See if I can activate this battery pack again. There we go. So now if I take this and I press it with my nose, there we go. Full power. You see? So now this 5 amp hour battery pack has been revived as well. And all it needed was 2 new cells. So as you can see, I press the button, it lights up, and then if I disconnect my fingers, so the contacts are open now, and I press this, it'll detect, an error because it's not getting the full voltage. Well, it should be getting the full voltage, but, the battery management system somehow, actually, you break the circuit, so the battery knows. So there you go. So this 5 amp hour battery pack fixed as well with a bunch of free 18650s that I found on the side of the road in a broken appliance that probably had 1 dead cell as well. So yep, I'm gonna spot weld these now, clean the contacts, and I'll have this battery fixed. and then the 6 amp hour fixed as well. So pretty happy about that. Great news, great success, learned something new, and I think my test worked pretty well. It's always good to measure the cells, you know, you can see how the cells are performing. So for example, in this battery pack, if I were to measure them now, they'll all be slightly different voltages, and over time you might notice that certain cells are actually lower than the other cells. So if these are 3.8 and these are reading 3.6 or 3.5 or 3.4, you know that this cell here might be faulty and might need replacing. So quite simple to do. I recommend it. Have a go, have a crack at it. I'm just happy that I managed to jumpstart this battery pack by actually charging each individual bank and then, you know, putting on the charger and activating it. Thanks, guys. So this is part 2 of the Milwaukee battery hack revival. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.